Hi guys, today we're going to be exploring Protocol 2 under the Expressional Learning Methods, and I'm calling this protocol Functional Integration. In the first exploratory protocol, the importance of description as a powerful activity relating to exploration and discovery about yourself and each composition ought to have been noticed. The self-work, so to speak, also relates to the ideational shifts in perception. These intricate eye-catching images promise to deliver and be noticed. So, in a sense, like reading a story, some improvising will occur. Simply notice it. Note that the word improvise is thought to imply without preparation and a spur-of-the-moment quality, lacking intention, without planning or foresight. However, those two words, as antithetical as they may seem, also connote reciprocal elements. The act of exploration and discovery, for example, are complementary and interactive. They are functionally integrated. And today, Rob is going to run you through the protocol, and then we'll continue afterwards. Rob?
Thanks, Aldo. So in Protocol 2, we're going to be using the random grid series and the random grid quote series to explore in a specific sequence. So I'm just going to show you guys how to do this. It's going to be a much better guide rather than having you go and look for it necessarily on the website. So going to aldoimprovisationalart.com, that can be located in the description. You're going to choose the random grid series right from the home page. You will notice as you scroll that there are 13 of these images. This is top to bottom, and the main image is on the left side for each of these series. Numbered and labeled, of course. The right of the compositions on the left side, there's going to be labeled A, B, and C. These are the three images or quotes, basically a snapshot of a small detail of that main image, and they're all found within that fully original piece. So there's going to be 36 quotes that make up this series, but whether numbered or lettered, each and every image can be enlarged. You can closely examine it for details and kind of match it into the main image as we did in our first protocol. So basically, in this part 2, your overall exploration and discoveries are now functionally integrated to the degree that has been attained. Choose a numbered composition, one of the 13 on the left side that you favor, that speaks to you, and then re-explore, rediscover using the quotes to the right of that. So there's quite a few that we can work through, but just pick one for now. Directly afterwards, if you're able to, in the comments, ideally, just to get the conversation flowing, or you can just do this on your own as self-work. We'll attach the worksheet on the website, of course, under the About Us section. All that is linked below as always. But yeah, there's some sentence stems and just some things to think about.
Yes, I'm adding 3 new pages. One is a glossary of related words, subjectivity, objectivity, and words that you've heard me say. And you might want to look at the description. These are all found in the dictionary, of course. So that'll be one page. You might enjoy doing that. It'll help you to understand better. And the other page you've already seen in the gift of art, and there are 3 elements to this page, and you can find that under the gift of art. One is about cognitive science, and we try to explain scientifically what's happening when we look at things, and cognitive science is alive and well, and everybody's writing about it. And one of the things that they attempt to describe is how human beings are interested in novelty. We're all interested in novelty. What's new is on the minds of everybody. That's why we watch the news. And the other is neuroplasticity, how minds can be changed, how we unlearn and relearn. So you might want to look at that because I think it might be important. And I have one that's inspired by the sentence completion technique that I'm going to describe in a minute.
So this goes with those questions, kind of what to think about?
Exactly.
Okay, the exploratory stuff.
And
okay,
this page I titled, Ask Yourself.
It's quite important. Okay.
What inspired the interconnected shapes? Are there symbols or stories within the patterns?
This is from the artwork that we had chose from the random grid series.
It is.
Okay.
It is. Thanks, Rob. Do the colors represent emotions or remembrances? There are multiple focal points. Does their movement represent rhythm? Does something new appear each time I revisit certain compositions? Are these shapes random or do they appear intentional? Okay, now I've read these and I'm asking you to read these aloud. And again, because these are expressional learning methods, they need to be expressed aloud. You need to hear yourself expressing them, as you may do when you're frustrated in traffic, for example. You say, who is that stupid guy in front of me, and so on. You say these things aloud because they're immediate expressionally necessary. So read these aloud so that you can hear yourself doing them. The sentence completion technique was conceived of by Nathaniel Branden, who was a very popular psychologist, and I worked in some of his workshops in New York City as part of the human potential movement that I have mentioned before. And his theory, his method, was called biocentric theory. So biocentric means life-oriented. He discovered that when you express something aloud, and I've mentioned this before, it has a certain impact. Not only are you speaking and hearing yourself speak, but this has an impact on one's brain, the motor cortex, and so on. And sometimes surprise endings happen with the sentence stems. So the sentence stem itself has certain implications, and they need to be added to every time you say the sentence. Now, the sentences that Rob mentioned are, what I like most about this exercise might be blah, blah, blah. And do that several times and write them down. There's no right way, there's no wrong way. Whatever comes out, you write down. And what I dislike most about this experience might be, you're admitting that you dislike something about it. You might want to elaborate on it. That's what the stem is for, so that you can elaborate on it and surprise yourself. And I'm beginning to imagine that now certain imaginings are going to happen. You've just done an exercise called sentence completion. You may have never heard about it before, but it's very powerful, not only in therapy, but to help oneself to learn more about themselves. If you're having some problem in your own life that you might want to invent the stem and then do it, it'll work just as well for you if you invent your own stem, particularly. So sentence completion work is a new way of learning. It's expressional learning, and I've included in all the expressional learning methods that I've learned, expanded upon as a therapist, as a teacher, and as a social worker. So I know these work, and I'm asking you not only to work with them, but to invent for yourself. The more you invent, the more you'll know. So it's got a descriptive quality, as in Protocol 1. So between Protocol 1 and Protocol 2, you'll see as combined, they work together. And there's an accumulative effect through all the protocols. And if you discover it now, you'll discover it in the next protocol, and the next protocol, and so on.